here we are. Now, you were worried that the question wasn't nice. It is nice, Tommy. What do you think of Republicans like McCain and Lindsey Graham, who have rebuked President Trump's executive order banning Muslim refugees? That's a reasonable question.
You know, I'm all for anybody standing in their truth. I do think that McCain and Graham are both incredibly threatened by Donald Trump, and I think that their relevancy is threatened, so they're lashing out. But hey, you know what? We're okay in the Republican Party. We got a lot of voices. That's good.
Right. And where do you think they stand on LGBT rights?
I know where Trump stands. I think that he's been incredibly pro-LGBT in those issues. And
No, I'm
I think
saying that because they're boyfriends. I'm just...
Oh. Well.
The video today on Real Time with Bill Maher exemplified the frustrating paradox of modern political discourse. Sharp humor and incisive observations undermined by a shallow engagement with deeper systemic issues. In a heated exchange between Maher and his guest, the discussion veered into the hypocrisy of Republicans embracing Trump's executive orders after vilifying Obama's. While the criticism was valid, the conversation lacked introspection, failing to acknowledge that such duplicity transcends party lines. Maher's trademark wit and his guest's fiery rebuttals offered plenty of entertainment, but little substance, leaving viewers with the nagging sense that the show is more concerned with scoring points than fostering real understanding. Must watch.
Rick Wilson, do you think it's likely that Trump's base or a majority of the Republican Party will turn against him? Great question.
Well, look, if he doesn't manage to deliver all these thousands of new coal mining jobs and to turn the economy into some magical 1950s fairyland, well, maybe 1850s for some of his fans, if he doesn't manage to accomplish a big economic lift for the folks that really were strongly for him, which are lower middle class working whites, he's going to have a lot of trouble holding on to those folks if he doesn't show actual results. You can't just tweet and bullshit your way out of it.
Right. But, I mean, he has done a lot of jawboning with corporations. You know, he would say, I've already saved jobs. Before I even got to the White House, I saved jobs because, you know, I also read that corporations are scared of him.
Call me crazy. Call me crazy, but there's a big difference between actual job creation and policies that make the economy get lit up and a bullshit tornado. And basically that's what all these CEO meetings turn out to be. The accounts and the stories about them are, he goes in and says, I built a great business. Did you build a great business? Yes, we're great businessmen together. It's so nice of you to be here in the Oval Office with me. And again, it's like Sam's description. This guy's Chauncey Gardner.
Yeah.
You know, I like television. There's no there.
Oh, poor you. You have to listen to all this.
I thought Rick was a Republican.
He is. Well, there's lots of Republicans who aren't on your side.
Yeah, but I'm actually a conservative, too. That's the difference between me and Trump people.
I love the self-righteous conservatives.
But
the Trump people, us Trump people, we're all awful.
When you see us all going nuts, you love it.
I mean, a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
The discussion surrounding Trump's executive orders, particularly the controversial Muslim ban, revealed deep divisions in public opinion and their implications for societal cohesion. Critics argued that such policies not only marginalized specific communities, but also exacerbated xenophobia, fueling a climate of hostility and fear. The guests on Real Time with Bill Maher pointed out how these actions might provoke unintended consequences, including increased violence and heightened risks to national security. Rather than addressing legitimate security concerns, these measures seem to serve as political theater, rallying Trump's base while undermining America's foundational ideals of inclusion and equality. The debate underscored a sobering reality. Policies framed as protective can often become tools of division, leaving society more fractured and vulnerable in the process.
Does it bother you how, like, the Republican Party, like, did a 180 on, like, everything? Like, overnight, you know, executive orders? When Obama did them were the worst thing in the world, and now the government is run by does that bother you, like that sort of like immediate, unabashed hypocrisy?
I don't know. Most presidents do that when they first come in. There's usually a lot of executive orders in reverse.
Not this much, and not after saying it's the worst thing in the world.
Right.
It was the worst thing in the world up until January 20th.
I think one of the things that Trump really ran on, one of the things people are really mad about with Washington is this thing where every 6 months, people in both parties just start saying the opposite of what they said 6 months ago. I mean, you look at what's happening with the Supreme Court right now. So, yeah, I mean, I think that that's a problem for both, but it's especially a problem right now. I mean, like, he says conflicting stuff in a single day. I mean, it's
Sometimes
hard
in a
to-
single sentence.
Right, in a sentence.
I've seen him do it in a sentence,
Right.
which is
So
a talent.
he's-
But I remember when Republicans were outraged when Barack Obama was picking winners and losers in the economy.
Yes.
And now we've got a president who essentially blackmails companies into basically saying, I'm going to tweet mean about you if you don't do what I want. You know, it's a very different kind of picking winners and losers, but, you know, President Game Show host has got a certain shtick.
I'm not going to let them talk about him like that, Tommy.
Trump's presidency redefined the traditional mold of political leadership, characterized by an unorthodox approach that blended bombastic rhetoric, personal charisma, and an unrelenting use of social media. This polarizing style became a focal point on Real Time with Bill Maher, where panelists debated its merits and pitfalls. Critics argued that while Trump's authenticity resonated with his base, his leadership often prioritized spectacle over substance. Policies were overshadowed by photo ops and viral tweets, leaving many to question the tangible results of his administration. Yet even his harshest detractors conceded a peculiar kind of genuineness, Trump's unapologetic adherence to his persona, regardless of its divisiveness. The discussion highlighted a key tension. In a political landscape increasingly driven by optics, does style matter more than results?
Sam, do you think that radical extremists in other religions or white supremacists pose a threat to national security too?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cut and dry. And we're done.
We never have said that there weren't other problems or other bad people and ideologies.
I wrote a whole book on what's wrong with Christianity. I mean, it's just. This is
But see, that's so much. It's interesting that that's so much more popular among the white liberals. It's like, yes, we're bad.
It's being, yeah.
It's like they want that. We should get them that thing that Shiites hit themselves with. Yes, we're just as bad.
Well, there is masochism, which is attractive to some people apparently, but there's just there's the understandable problem that we see this through the lens of a beleaguered minority. When you think of what most people think of Muslims, they think of non-white people who are in our society a tiny minority, and therefore they're deserving, and rightly so, they're deserving of kind of the double protection of the white majority thinking, wait a minute, am I being a bigoted asshole here? And so that sort of self-scrutiny is appropriate, but it's just, you're not following the plot here. Islam is not a race, right? Islam is a set of ideas.
Yes.
Right, which is
a
contagious.
religion is
and
a
we
set
have
of bad
we have
ideas.
to be able to criticize bad ideas.
Panelists underscored that Islam, as a set of ideas and doctrines, should not be immune to scrutiny, particularly when addressing the ideologies underpinning extremism. However, they also highlighted the real-world consequences of conflating criticism of Islam with blanket discrimination against Muslims, often resulting in unjustified hostility toward innocent individuals. The panel also explored the role of political rhetoric in exacerbating or alleviating these tensions. Policies like Trump's Muslim ban were criticized for legitimizing xenophobia and painting entire populations as threats. Such actions, they argued, risk alienating moderate Muslims who are crucial allies in combating extremism, while providing extremist groups with propaganda tools to recruit and radicalize. At its core, the discussion called for a more sophisticated approach to these issues, one that balances legitimate critique of harmful ideologies without descending into bigotry or oversimplification. This nuanced perspective challenges the audience to reject both the demonization of Islam and the denial of its ideological complexities, advocating instead for a thoughtful, informed discourse on religion, extremism, and coexistence. Thank you for tuning in and engaging with this thought-provoking content. If you enjoyed the discussion and want to dive deeper into topics like politics, society, and culture, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you more insightful analysis and debates. See you in the next video.